Hello everyone, this is my lecture number 11 on network theory. In last lecture, I discussed about the basic concept of alternating current circuit analysis, and today let us solve some problems on alternating current circuit analysis. Now, just like DC circuit analysis, in AC circuit analysis also we can apply all the basic laws, that is KCL, KVL, voltage divider rule, current divider rule, Ohm's law, and the network theorems also. So now let us solve. This is a circuit that is given. Okay. In that case, we can analyze this circuit using nodal analysis method also and mesh analysis method also. So from that circuit, what is the first goal? That we have given a voltage source, resistance, inductance values, and we have a dependent source also. Now from this 20 cosine of 4t, we have to convert that into equivalent polar form or Cartesian form. So for AC circuit, always we have to calculate with respect to Cartesian complex number, so either polar form or in Cartesian form. So 20 cos 4t, so 4t plus minus 0 degree. So what we have, 20 angle is 0 degree, and here omega cosine of omega t, so omega equal to nothing but 4 radian per second. Now we have to convert these inductance values into its equivalent value. That means 1 Henry, that is equal to j omega L, that means J4 omega 4, and L is 1. For next one, that will be J2. And we have one capacitor. For capacitor, what is the value? That is 1 by Xc. Okay, that means 1 by j omega c. So what we can write? Here you can multiply j at numerator, denominator again j. So what we will have at denominator, j square, which is equal to minus 1. So minus j of 2.5. That means when we got minus j term, that means it is a capacitor. When it got j and some value, that will denote as inductor. Now we have to draw the equivalent frequency domain circuit from this time domain to frequency domain. What we have, 20 0 degree, 10 ohm, J4 minus J25 2.5 J2 ohm. Okay. Now we can apply KCL at node 1. This node is grounded. So what is the value of this node? That is nothing but the value of this voltage source, that is 20 at the angle 0, and this is positive. Okay. So what we can write, that 20 minus V1 divided by 10, that is this current is entering, that current we are taking as positive, and we are considering here these other two current leaving, so entering current equal to summation of leaving current, and here what we can write, V1 minus 0 divided by minus J2.5, then plus V1 minus V2 divided by J4. Now we can solve this equation, we will get this expression. Now second, for node 2, what we will have, now this solution is little bit tricky, we have to solve it cautiously. You can practice that and you can find that this answer, you are getting this answer or not. Okay, so at this node 2, what we can write, current entering is 2ix is positive. So again, current entering, if you consider V1 minus V2 divided by J4, V1 minus V2 divided by J4, so this current also entering, then V2 minus 0 divided by J2, which is leaving. Okay. So that is equal to leaving current, entering current equal to leaving current, and Ix is dependent source variable, and which is given as here. So Ix equal to what? Nothing but V1 minus 0 divided by minus J 2.5 ohm. So this is basically we are applying Ohm's law. Ohm's law to find out the current value. Okay, and where the resistance or impedance value are nothing but the reactance value of inductor and capacitor. So what we got, Ix equal to V1 divided by minus J 2.5, that we can put it here and we get this expression. If you solve, you will get this one. Now equation 1 and 2 we can write the in matrix form, V1 coefficient, V1 coefficient, V2 coefficient, and here V2 coefficient into V1 and V2 constant term 20 and 0. Now you have to find out determinant value from this particular term. So 1 plus j 1.5 into 15 minus 11 into j 2.5. If you solve it, you will get this result. Then you have to find del 1 and del 2. Del 1 means we have to find out V1. Okay, that is del 1 by del delta. In that case, a constant term you have to replace at the first column. So we have replaced this first column by 20 and 0. Then if you solve it, you will get del 1. For del 2, we have to replace the second column by this constant term, and we get this value. Then we can find out V1 and V2. Okay. Now if we find out V1 and V2, we can find out Ix. Ix is V1 by minus J 2.5. So you can find out Vx. Now here what happened? Vx value, this value, we have converted into equivalent polar form from this Cartesian form. Now here what we can say, minus j means always minus 90 degree, plus j means plus 90 degree, and this value, so this is nothing but 0 minus j 2.5. So we get this value. Okay, we can convert that using the formula that I have showed in previous lecture. Now this part 18.97 divided by 2.5, we got this, and this one then minus of minus 90 degrees, so it becomes plus 90, so 108.4. Okay. Now from this we can find out Ix. Ix will be equal to what? This is the term, okay, maximum value. Okay, then cosine of omega t is same, frequency will remain same for the AC circuit, that is 4. Okay, so 4t plus this angle you have to write. So that is the, in time domain, the value of Ix. Now the second problem, this is another type of circuit where you can see you have to find out V1 and V2. We can apply nodal analysis technique, and in that case what we can see that between V1 V2 to non-reference node we have a voltage source, so we can combine them as a whole as a super node. Okay, so see, in DC circuit analysis we apply super node, in AC circuit also we can apply super node. So conceptually are same, both of them are same, only the part different is the calculation part. So this is 3 angle 0, so 3 ampere, and it is given in minus j6 term, so no, we don't have to convert that again. Okay, so now for this super node we have 4 branches connected, and from the super node applying KVL we can find out the value. So that is V1 minus 10 at angle 45 equal to V2. V1 plus minus, so there is a voltage drop, equal to V2, or V1 minus V2 equal to 10 at angle 45 degree. So now current entering, say this is 3 and all other are say leaving. So entering equal to leaving, so V1 divided by minus J3, V2 divided by 12 and V2 divided by J6. Now if you solve, you will get this equation. Now what from this particular super node, if we apply KVL, what we can find, V1 plus 10 at angle 45 equal to V2. So V1 equal to V1 minus V2 equal to 10 at angle 45. Then V1 equal to what? V2 plus that value. Okay, we got second equation. Now this V1 we can substitute in first equation, right? Then we can find out V2 value. Okay, then we got the value of V2. Now by putting this V2 value in first equation, we can find out value of V1. So we got the voltage value. Okay, now always write the unit of the voltage, volt. Okay, and for current we have to write the unit as ampere. Don't forget that. Now find, say, nodal analysis, you have to apply nodal analysis again, find V0t, that is voltage across this capacitor, sorry, inductor. Now we have to find out from this, this is sine of 1000 t, that means omega equal to 1000. Okay, sine of omega t, so omega equal to 1000. Now we have to draw, we have to find out the circuit phasor representation, that means what is the value of C and XC, ZL and ZC. ZL or XL, that is J omega L. So omega is 1000 10 to the power 3, and here 10 millihenry, so 10 into 10 to the minus 3, so we will get this value. And XC you can find out 1 by J omega C, which is equal to minus J omega, and this capacitor value is 50 microfarad, so we get this value. Now for cosine term we are taking angle 0, this is given in sine term. So sine is nothing but cosine 1000t minus pi by 2. So this value will gives the result as 5 at triangle minus 90 degree or minus 5j, because if you convert that into cosine term, there will be minus pi by 2 is here, so you are getting minus 90 term and you get minus 5j if you convert that into polar to Cartesian. Now we can put these values of in terms of j. Okay, now we can apply KCL at node 1. So current entering is say negative, here we are considering negative of minus 5j, then all current are leaving, so V1 minus by 30, V1 minus V2 by 10 equal to 0. Then you can find out this equation. Now for node 2, V2 minus V1, so current is leaving, by 10, V2 minus 0 divided by J20 minus J20, then V2 minus 0 divided by 10 plus J10. Why? Because these two in series, so what happens? That is 10 R plus JXL, so 10 plus J10. If it is capacitor minus J10 say, then 10 minus J10. Okay, and you can solve it, you will get second equation, and by solving these two equation you will get V1 value. Okay, and we can get V2 value. So we got from here V1 equal to this and V2 equal to this. Now what is our goal? We have to find out voltage drop across V0, across this inductor. If we know V2 means from here to ground, that we know, and here two elements are there which are in parallel with that V2, right? That means V2 is equal to total voltage drop across these two components. That means if we apply voltage divider rule, then we can find voltage drop across this inductor when total voltage is V2. So if we apply, say V0 will be what? V2 into same branch resistance, that is 10J, divided by total resistance, that is 10 plus J10. So we find out V0 value. Okay. Now V0 we got this value that we can convert into its equivalent polar form. So what we are getting polar form 25 at angle minus 45 degree. To find out maximum value, we have multiplied by root 2. Now this is always RMS value, so we have to multiply by root 2. Okay. In some problem in some books that is given wrong anyway. So now this is cosine term you have to write, not in sine term. Okay, because there is a minus, then you have to add, if you have to write sine term, then you have to add another minus 90 degree. Okay, so cosine of omega t, omega is 1000, and this angle minus 45 degree, that is the time domain voltage. So now find the time domain voltage of V1 and V2 shown in figure. Now in this figure all the values are given in J value, so no problem, we are going to have to convert. If it is given in inductance value or capacitance value, then we have to convert using XL equal to J omega L, X equal to 1 by J omega C. And it is also given in angle form, so no problem. So if we apply KCL at node 1, what we can write? That is V1 by 5, V1 by minus J10, okay. Then V1 minus V2 by minus J5, V1 minus V2 by J10 equals to 1M, 1 at angle 0. This can be written in Cartesian form as 1 plus J0. That means current is entering and all other currents are leaving. So if you solve it, you will get this particular result. At node 2, similarly we can write. Now here you can see this current is leaving, okay, and other current we are considering also. leaving. So V2 minus V1, so leaving again V2 minus V1 by J10, V2 by 10, V2 by J5, okay, that we write plus minus of this current is also leaving. So that we can consider as J.5 value. And if you solve, we will get this expression. Then from these two equations, we can find out the value of V1 and V2. You can apply matrix method to solve it. So we got in Cartesian form. We can convert that into polar form. If you convert that in polar form, then we can find out time domain very easily because we got the angle. So 2.24. This should be multiplied by root 2, but anyway, they are thinking this is the maximum value. That is the confusion here. So cosine of omega t, here omega t value is not given here, so you have to write in terms of omega t, okay, or you can omega t minus this angle plus this angle, okay. So that is the time domain expression. Now say determine the I0 current using mesh analysis. So that means you have to identify the meshes. So there are three meshes and you have to write KVL to each mesh. Now if you write KVL mesh 1, what we have, this 8 through this I1 is flowing through 8 ohm, J10 ohm and minus J2 ohm into I1 minus, that is the voltage drop, minus of J2 I2, J2 I2, because here in this I2 it is flowing opposite way, so minus J2 into I2, again minus J10 I3. So if you remember for DC circuit, that for a particular mesh, all the that mesh current is positive for all the resistance summation 8 plus J10 minus J2, and which is common factor. There you have to write minus of that value into I2. Okay. Similarly here also. Now for mesh 2 is here, so that is what we can write. I2 current is flowing to minus J2, 4 minus J2 minus J2 into I2, then minus J2 into I3, okay, minus J2 into I1, and we have this is enter into positive side, so plus 10 90 degree equal to 0. Now for mesh 3 current is nothing but 5 at angle 0, because there is a current source. This is a current source which is not common to between two meshes. So that will be the same value. So I3 is nothing but 5 amp. Okay. So you can put I3 value here and we can solve. We will get these two equations, and by matrix method we can find out the value I1 and I2. So this is your I1 coefficient, I1 coefficient J2, I2 coefficient, I2 coefficient here I1, I2, and this is nothing but J30 addition of partition term. Then you can solve finding on delta 1. Now here the problem is you have to find out I2 which is nothing but minus of I0. Okay. So we have to find out I2 equal to del 2 by del. So you got this value, and I0 is nothing but minus I0, because I2 and I0 is opposite direction. So we got this value. Okay. Now say another problem. Here we have to solve for V0. So voltage across this capacitor. So we can apply using say mesh analysis. So how many meshes are there? Say 1, 2, 3, 4 meshes are there. Okay. Now what we can see between this I3, I4, M3, M4, mesh 3 and 4, we have a current source common. Voltage drop across that we cannot find out directly. So we have to make a super mesh. Okay. Now for mesh 1, what is the equation? So this is enter negative terminal first, so minus 10 sorry minus 10, then I1 term, that is 8 plus J minus J2, so minus J2 into I1, then minus 8 into I3, then minus of J2 into I2. Okay, that is the value. That is the common factor. So with minus term, it appears with minus term. Now for mesh 3, 2 is nothing but minus 3 ampere, right? Because here we have a branch which is having current source, and that is not common to any other meshes. Now we have to write KVL of this super mesh. Now for super mesh, what we can write? This I3 and I4. So I3 into I3 is flowing through these two branches. So that is 8 plus J4 I3. No, it is minus. So minus J4 I3. Then this I1 is flowing through 8 ohm. So minus 8 I1. Then I4 is flowing 6 plus J5 into I4. Okay. And I4, I3 is, I2 is flowing through this J5 also. So it will be minus J5 into I2 equal to 0. Okay. Then you can write the KCL at node A. That means your I3 equal to I3 plus 4 equal to I4. Right. So here I3 is flowing this way, I4 is flowing this way, and this 4 ampere is flowing upwards. So I4 equal to nothing but I3 plus I4 ampere. Okay. Now we can substitute those equations and we can solve. We will get two equations, then matrix form. You can find out the current value. Whatever the current value, you have to find out. I1, I2, I3, I4, all the value you can find out them. Now, if you find out I1, okay, I1, I2 value is known minus 3 ampere. So voltage drop across this capacitance will be what? I1 minus I2, okay, into minus J2. That is minus J2 into I1 minus I2 is the V0. Okay. Since this is simple Ohm's law, we are applying Ohm's law. Okay. Just think this is a resistor. Then you can write the equation. But we have to put this value, J value, and you have to calculate. That is the part we have to do. Then we can solve it for that. Okay. Now 3 means C at angle of 0. Okay. Or you can convert that into Cartesian and you can solve. Okay. And you can get the value of V0. Let's solve this problem using superposition theorem. So for superposition theorem, I0 is I0 dash plus I0 double dash because we have two sources. So first let us say this current source, we make this open circuited, deactivated. So now what we have to do, that we have to find out this I0 prime. That means what is the current leaving. So we can find out the equivalent impedance of the circuit. That is what this 8 plus J10 is in series, right? No current can flow through this path, so these two in series. So 8 plus J10 in series, that will be in parallel with minus J2. Okay. So what we can write, minus J2 into 8 plus J10 divided by minus J2 plus 8 plus J10. That means R1 into R2, or say Z1 into Z2 divided by Z1 plus Z2. So you got Z value or equivalent Z here. Now these three, then these three, 4 minus J2 at this term is in series. So I0 prime will be what? Z20 divided by 4 minus J2 plus Z. Z value is this one. Okay. Then we get the I0 prime value. Okay. Now what you have to do, you have to for I0 double prime, that is current flowing through this, for this current source. When other voltage, this voltage source, you have to make it zero. That means you have to short circuit that. So this is the circuit, short circuiting, and there is a current flow. So what you have to find out current. flow, that is the I2, I0 double prime equal to minus I2. So we can analyze using mesh analysis. Now to get I0 double prime for mesh 1, what we can write, 8 plus J10 minus J2, that means plus J8 into I1, then minus of J10 into I3, then minus of minus J2 into I2, that becomes plus here. For mesh 2, this is 4 minus J4, addition of these two into I2, then minus of minus J2 into I1, again minus of minus J2 into I3 equal to 0. Both become plus, and I3 is nothing but 5 ampere. So we can put this I3 value in this equation. So we got in terms of two variable, and we can solve to find out I2. So if you got the value of I2, that is nothing but I0 double prime equal to minus of I2. Okay, so we got this value. Now we know the value of I0 double prime and I0 prime. So I0 will be addition of those two value, and we will get the result. Now this is in Cartesian, you can convert into polar form also, and don't forget to write this unit of the current. Now let us solve again one another problem with using the superposition theorem. Now here we have three sources. Okay, so voltage across this 1 ohm resistor you have to find out. So this value will be the V1 plus V2 plus V3 for source 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now say we are considering this 5 volt source. So current source is open circuited, this voltage source is short circuited. Okay, and now see here, this is cosine term, this is sine term. Now this is a DC voltage source. Okay, plus minus 5 volt. This is DC voltage. Now if it is DC voltage source, then what will happen? Capacitor will act as open circuit, inductor acts as short circuit. So what will have, 5 volt, 4 ohm, open circuit, 1 ohm, then short circuit. Okay. So we have 4 ohm, 1 ohm, and short circuit. So V1, that is across this 1 ohm resistor, that will be what? Nothing but 5 volt into 1 divided by total resistance 4 plus 1, voltage divider rule. Okay, that will be with minus B, because this is minus to plus and voltage source here plus to minus. So V1 will be minus 1 volt. Okay, and this is DC source, and this is DC. What we are doing, for DC, capacitor acts as open circuit, inductor acts as short circuit. Okay, hopefully you remember the point, that is for inductor I equal to what, C dV dt. If V is constant, dV dt is 0, so I equal to 0. I0 is possible when that is open circuited, no current will pass. And for inductor, that is V equal to L di dt. Now if I is constant, then what happened, V is 0. Now V is 0 means what happens, voltage is voltage is 0, that means it is a short circuit. Okay. So now for second point, this is we are considering this voltage source. So this one is shorted, this one is open circuited. So we will get this expression here. Now we have to convert this 2 ohm to 2 Henry to in J term, and capacitor also in J term. So what we are getting, cos, this is 10 cos 2t, so omega equal to 2 radian per second, and this is 10 at angle 0. Now 2 Henry j omega L, so j5 j4 omega equal to 2, and zero point 0.1 farad 1 by j omega c, that is minus j5 we got by putting omega equal to 2. Okay. So this is the equivalent circuit using these values in frequency domain. Say. Now we have to find out this voltage across this. Okay. So what we can do, that is this minus j5 ohm, this capacitor and this resistor in parallel. So we can find out its equivalent impedance. So that impedance is minus j5 parallel with 4. So we can R1 into Z1 into Z2 divided by Z1 plus Z2 Okay, so this is minus J5, so it comes minus here, and we got this Z value. Okay, now what we can do, we can apply these two. That means there are three resistance. If you consider, you have to find out voltage drop across one resistance, so we can apply voltage divider rule again. That means this V2 value is what, 1 across 1 ohm. You have to find out, so same voltage, same resistance divided by total impedance, that is 1 plus J4 plus this Z value, okay, into this voltage. So we got, if you calculate, you get this value. Okay. So in time domain, what you can write, this value, this should be multiplied by root 2, but again, say this is say they are thinking this is a maximum value, then cosine of 2t, because of this value, this frequency will remain same for each circuit, and minus this angle, that is your V2. Now say for V3, that means due to this current source, then what happens here in this circuit, this becomes short circuited, so this 2 ohm 2 Henry inductor comes in parallel with this current source. Okay. So current source and other circuit remains same, where this voltage source is sorted. So 4 ohm in parallel with 0.1 farad capacitor. Okay. Similarly, here it is given as 2 sin t. That means that is cos 5t minus 90 degree. Okay. So that is why it is written as 2 at an angle minus 90 degree. So omega equal to 5 now, as it is 5t. Now 2 Henry, that is J10, and using omega equal to 5, 0.1 f 1 by j omega c, we got value as J minus J2. Now we have to find out, if we can find out current flowing through this 1 ohm, then we can find out voltage drop according to the Ohm's law. Okay. So now what we can see, that these two are in parallel, right? So we can find out its equivalent impedance, that is J minus J2 parallel with 4. So that is the Z1. Okay. Now if we apply current divider rule by current division, what we can write, that other branch. Now what happens if these two in Z1, now this Z1, that Z1 will be in, that is in series with this 1 ohm. Then what, this current divided into two parts, and this part is flowing, this I1 is flowing through 1 ohm resistance as well as through the Z1. Okay, that means if we find out current I1, that will be the current that is flowing through 1 ohm resistor. That means what, total current into other one's resistance, so J10 divided by total J10 plus 1 plus Z1 into current value, total current value. So we get, if we solve it, we will get this value, and V3 equal to that I1 into 1. So we got this value. Now in time domain, if you shift, what you will have, conversion in time domain from this polar form, that is this value 2.328, then cosine of 5t, because omega equal to 5, 5t minus 980 degree. Now if you convert it into sine form, that means we have to add with plus 90 degree, right? Because sine of omega t minus 90 degree equal to cosine. So if you want to convert into cosine from sine, so you have to add plus 90 degree. So it will give us 5t plus 10. Now if we form equation for the DC source, that is minus 1 volt, for voltage source and for current source, we got this value, okay, in volt. Now say obtain the Thevenin equivalent circuit across this point AB. Okay. Now what happened? That means you have to apply Thevenin source, Thevenin theorem here. So if you now making this, you have to find out say ZTH, that is equivalent resistance or impedance of the circuit. What happened if you look into that? What we can see, at this A, these two 8 ohm and minus 6J, both are in parallel. So A, these two in parallel, and these two reaches at point D and F, okay, where D and F is short circuited, because when you have to find out this Z equivalence, we have to make in independent sources deactivated and voltage source is short circuited. So this F and D point is same point. I mean, from B we have to 4 and J2 and it reaches to FD point. That means what? Z1 is what? Nothing but these two in parallel, Z2 in these two in parallel, and ZTS will be both Z1 Z2 in series. So Z1 is minus 6 8 ohm parallel, and here 4 Z12 in parallel, and we find out ZTS by addition of this Z1 Z2. Now we have to find out the VTH. Now VTH, if you want to find out, what you have to do? We have to find out this I1 I2. If you find out I1 I2, then you can find out voltage drop across these two resistance, 8 ohm and Z12 ohm, and you can find out VTH. Okay. So I1 will be equal to what? This voltage source. This is the 8 minus J6. Okay. And I2 voltage source divided by 4 plus Z12. So this is one loop and this is another loop. Okay. So now applying KVL here, what we can write, then VTH, okay, applying KVL, minus 2 plus, then minus 4I2 and minus and plus J minus J6 into I1. So see here, what happened here? This is plus minus, so minus 2 plus is in this loop, minus 2 plus, so it is increasing. So VTH, here it current flowing plus to minus, so we are going minus 2 plus, so positive of this, and here this is plus 2 minus, so negative 4I2. So we can find out VTH is 4I2 plus J6I1. By putting this I1 I2 value, we find out this VTH value. So we know VTH and ZTH. Then if any load resistance is connected here or load impedance is connected here, we can find out the load current. So another example for Thevenin equivalent circuit. Okay. So now say you have to find out, this is a circuit. Now what happened? We have in one branch we have resistance and capacitance connected in series. So we can find out from this impedance, which is 2 minus J4, here 4 plus J3. Okay. Now we have to find out voltage across this. That means we have to find out V2. Okay. So if you write KCL at node 1, what you can write? Current entering, so 15 equal to current leaving, so I0 plus 0.50. Okay. Why? Because this current is entering, this is I0 is leaving, and this current is nothing but this 0.5 I0, because no current is flowing through this path. So this is in series. Okay, this is the application of current flowing in series. It will should be the same value. So 15 equal to I0 plus 0.5 I0. So I0 equal to nothing but 10 amps that we got. Now if we apply KVL across this loop, okay, then what you can write, that minus, now see here what we are doing here, this is going up, I0 is going down. Okay, so that minus I0 into 2 minus J4, then this current is same as point, same direction, so plus 0.5 I0, 4 plus J3, and here this voltage across this is nothing but VTH plus VTH. We are not considering here current source here. So we can find out VTH by solving this problem as we know value of I0. So we find out VTH. VTH we got minus J55, that means 55 at angle minus 90 degree. Whenever there is a minus J, it should give us minus 90 degree, and plus J means plus 90 degree. Now say we have here dependent source and independent source both. That means we cannot apply here the deactivating the sources. What we can do is we can we can use either we can short circuit that and we find out the short circuit current, or we can apply some voltage source here by making independent test volt method or test current method. That means we have to apply voltage source or current source here, making that independent source equal to 0 or open circuit. For this current source is open circuited. So current source is open circuited. So we have this 1, 2, 3, and we have another current source. The current source value taking as 3 amp, 3 at angle 0. Okay. So what we can write here is that this is a 3 ampere. Okay. This is zero point 0.5 and that current was 0.0. So 3 equal to I0 plus 0.5 I0. Okay. So I0 equal to 2 amps that we got. Now we can apply KVL to outer loop. That means Vs, voltage drop across voltage you have to find out. Vs by Is will be your ZTH. So Vs equal to what? I0 into total resistance. So total impedance, that is 4 plus J3 plus J minus J4. Okay. So, and you know value of I0, so you got Vs. So as you know Vs and Is equal to 3 at angle 0, so we can find out the value of ZTH. Now say another problem using Norton's theorem. We have to find out this I0 value. Now Norton's theorem means we have to find out first, we can find out the Zn or Norton's impedance. That means this is now the load resistance. Okay. So this is removed. Okay. And this is open circuited and this becomes short circuit. Voltage should become short circuited. Okay. Now if we look into circuit, what we can observe that if this current is flowing through this point 5 ohm, it can divide in two parts. But here from this and this is short circuited, right? Now this total impedance is in parallel with a short circuit. That means if R1 equal to 0 and R1 parallel with some R2, if R1 any one of the value is 0, what happens? Total impedance is 0, because R1 into R2 divided by R1 plus R2. If any R1 or R2 is 0, then that will be 0. So this part is parallel with this, so it is short circuited. So this is also short circuited. So equivalent impedance will be 5 ohm. Okay. Now to find out short circuit current, that means this load resistance, load impedance is removed. We have to make it short circuit. Okay. Now we have to find out the short circuit current I3, which is equal to IN. So we can apply mesh current method. So for mesh 1, what we can write, that it enters into minus to minus J40. Okay, then summation of these 4. Okay, so 18 plus J2 into I1, then 8 minus J2 minus of into I2, again minus of 10 plus J3 into I3. Now for here between 2 and 3 mesh, we cannot write the KVL because in between there is a current source. So for this super mesh, what we can write, that I2 is flowing through this path. So 8 5 13 minus J2 into I2, then 10 plus J4 into I3, then I1 is showing minus, that is summation of all those impedances, that is 18 plus J2 into I1 equal to 0. Now you can solve it. Before solving at this node A, what you can write, I2 plus I3 equal to I3, I3 equal to I2 plus I3. Then we can solve and we get the value of I3. Okay, so we got value of I2 and I3. We got value of I2. I3 is nothing but In, that is you have to find out. So I3 equal to I2 plus I3. If you find out value of I2, that will be add with 3, then that is the value of total current. So I0 is nothing but we have to apply current division rule, that is In in other one's resistance 5 into total impedance 5 plus 20 plus J15. Okay. Then we can solve it, we get the value. So again, that is a problem for the Thevenin equivalent circuit. You have to find out between A and B point. So we can apply nodal analysis. So then this is node 1. So that is V1 minus 250 divided by total impedance 10 plus J10. Current leaving, current entering is negative. Now here V1 minus this value we got, so current is leaving we are considering as positive, so this is entering means negative, so minus 0.03 V0, again V1 minus 0 divided by 50 minus J100. This we can consider as series circuit because no current flowing here. Okay. Now using voltage divider rule, V0, V0 is here, V0 is nothing but V1 into minus J100 divided by 50 minus J100. This is V1 here between here and ground. So what is the V1? V0 is voltage dividing of V1. Okay. So substitute 2 into 1, and if you solve it, you will get the value of V1. Then VOC, that is V, that is voltage drop across this capacitor. That is V0. So V1. So if you find out V1, then V0 you can find out using this formula. Okay, just by putting V1 here. So we got value of VOC. Now to find out ISC, suppose what we are doing here, we are considering this term that we are making short circuit of that. Okay, if it is short circuited, it will short circuit this term also. Okay, short circuit this term also. So this V0 becomes 0. So V0 here, this becomes 0. So it has no effect then. Okay. So voltage source, it does not have any effect here. So ISC you can find out directly by using Ohm's law. So 250 divided by summation of this impedance, this 70 plus J10, we get the value. So ZTS equal to VTH by ISC. So you can draw the equivalent circuit. So in that case, what we are doing is we have to make it short circuit here. Now short circuit with any other impedance, that will be short circuited. So V0 short circuit means V0 becomes 0. So we cannot take this value again. So due to this current source, in though it is dependent, but this has no effect because it becomes 0. It may be for other problems it cannot be 0. Then you have to keep it as it is and you have to calculate the ISC. Okay. So anyway, so this is it for today. Try to practice as more as many problem. Okay, you can take problem from books and you can practice. So this is the same concept you have to apply to solve any kind of AC circuit analysis. Okay, whatever you have studied in DC circuit analysis, same process. Only the calculation part will be little bit different because here you have to use complex number system, that is in terms of J, and impedance you have to consider. Okay, always remember that XL equal to j omega L and XC equal to 1 by j omega C. Okay. And you can calculate all those values. Try to practice. Okay. So this is it for today. Thank you so much.